It's a beautiful night here in Whistler, BC. Welcome to the final event of this weekend here in Whistler and the final luge race of 2019. This is the doubles sprint race. I'm Bree Schaff. Please be joined by American national team athlete Johnny Gustafson. Johnny, men's, women's sprint, we have seen some shakeups. Anything you can anticipate now for doubles?
I think just not being able to anticipate anything is anticipation here. We saw with the doubles race earlier some mistakes here and there with these lower speeds that they're going. They're not used to. A little harder to stay on curves. A little more mistakes could cost you a bit more. Really, anything could happen. This
is the coldest it's been all week, and we should have some exciting action here on the track. Johnny, talk us down how this is different for the men's sprint in doubles.
Right, on this year Groundhog Day, it seems after 7 is actually going to be the start. Normally you have that ramp, and right at the top of the ramp is when the timing starts. But here for doubles and for the women, after that first curve is where the timing will actually start. So you kind of get a running start into it, and your actual pull start doesn't matter as much as it normally does. So for someone with a slower start, they have a better chance of doing better in this race.
Look at our start list. This is the slowest to fastest of the top 15 of the doubles race, the premier event here this weekend this morning. So we will be going from 15th down to 1st, battling it out. Nothing matters, though, except the start order. It is a clean slate, one run, one and done. Lay down your fastest time, hang out in the leader's box, and see how long it lasts.
Yeah, these doubles racing only a few hours ago. Hopefully they're still either a bit warmed up, hopefully not tired from their race earlier, and really getting ready to go.
It's a great point, managing that adrenal fatigue of a big race, 2 heats, and then now just trying to get enough rest and come back for one more.
Yeah, I know sometimes when you're racing twice in one day, after that rush of adrenaline in the first race, you crash a little bit, so you got to be able to pick yourself back up.
Ready for their last World Cup run of 2019 from Austria, Yannick Müller and Armin Frauscher.
Going a bit quicker here on the start. They have 10 less seconds, so instead of the 45 that they're used to, they only have 35, which shouldn't be too much of a problem, but something that's always in your head. Start. They're trying to get this handed. Again, hopefully that won't matter too much as the timing is starting right now. A little bit later, pretty top speed to start.
It's that same principle as say a sprint flying start, where any time I've experimented with that, there was no room for it. You had to gun it from the go, and so it makes sense that you're still giving it your all. We're just not looking at that as a time taken into account. Ooh, skid there.
Yeah, pretty good run
into
up
finish
until
curve.
that. But skid coming out.
Well managed. Time to beat 27.898, set by Austria.
Pretty good run up until the end there. You saw they went later than they would have liked into 15. Yeah, you can see right here, definitely going late in. Little bit higher, not able to catch it. That's a hard drop to try and manage. Luckily they were able to a bit, but getting that skid and going up into 16 is definitely some time. And still making it into the sprint, being that first sled off, so you're the last sled to make it in. It's always kind of almost a freeing feeling being the first one.
And if you make it down, then it's a guaranteed top 15 finish.
Exactly, and that's always good to have. Next
Poland on the handles.
Chmielewski, Kolowski. Pretty good start to their year as Eagles. Very good first run. Hopefully they're able to kind of keep that momentum throughout the year. Now they really know what they can do.
Just edging on excellence this season.
69-3.
Chmielewski, Kolowski, both have been sliding for 12 years. Still relatively young in the doubles field at 24 and 25 years old, respectively.
We're down a decent run here, but there were definitely some issues in 10, 11, and a little too early to 13. Laid up, not having the best of runs. Nothing, obviously major. They're not off their sleds, but
falling behind Austria.
A lot of time there.
By just under 1500ths. Müller and Frauscher still in the lead.
Not too happy with that run for sure. We know they can do better. They know they can do better.
find myself unreasonably curious about their partnership with Germany. I want to know the terms, the conditions. I mean, talk about the nation to team up with.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't help
Germany
it.
is the powerhouse in this sport, so being with them it definitely helps. But I agree. I don't know. I don't know what the.
Wouldn't everyone like that?
Yeah. Able to, at the very least, handle those mistakes and make it down. And top 15 finish. Now the first of our Italians, Rita Rassner. Good start here right off the back. Meandering through that first curve 7, really just kind of getting comfortable before that timing starts.
Clock started here for these guys, 69.2.
Bit in the red right away, but not too much. That looked like a good 9, 10, 11 here. That's definitely going to be one of the problem spots, at the very least for time-wise. Maybe not so much that we're able to see, but definitely able to lose time there.
Ooh, late into 16. Oh no, big hit on the end. They finish on their sled over a quarter second back. They're not going to make it all the way up the hill. Hopefully they're okay. That was a rough exit.
Yeah, you called it though. You saw them going very late there into 16, and once that happens,
straight to the wood.
Yeah.
Now, does this put a hold on the track? That clock changes at the start for the next sled?
So they won't start the clock as soon.
Okay.
Normally they will say the track is clear, and that's when they hit the start button. So it'll just be a little bit later. Man, almost touching woods there and going down to the gutter, up again. Taking them a minute to get out, and that also is not good for the next sled if you're waiting a bit longer than you're used to. You're getting a little cold, you're getting anxious, you want to just go.
You're ready for that pace, you're expecting that pace, and now you're getting iced out. Tristan Walker is creeping up everywhere.
He better get up, he's up soon.
He'll have to wait on the line. Latvia's Andras Sheets and Juris Sheets. Not the pair that I wanted to see iced out. This was the redemption run that I've been looking forward to.
Yeah, still possible. You know, they know this track well. They do very well here. You know, they didn't have the runs that they wanted earlier today.
Prior to today's race, we were in the top 3 overall.
Definitely going to be hard to maintain that top 3. It's going to be possible with a really good run here.
They don't have the speed of Poland's Kowalewski.
Dropping just a little bit here.
Correction, at 27.898 is the time.
Line here, able to get over until not too far.
0.02 of a second. This Latvian team hoping to end on a better finish for the weekend.
Good 15, 16 there, getting more level line, coming out clean.
Beautiful. 600s, new leader, Latvia's Sheets. Not where they want to be after having had much success so far this season. They won the Lake Placid Sprint. But it's just been a tough weekend for this team.
Very least able to finish the year on it seemed like a pretty good run, you know. Some small mistakes here. They could have been a little bit earlier in the 16, you know, nitpicking as I have to here.
In the words of one of the German coaches I work with, it was very okay.
Yes. You know, there's always something that you're going to want to fix.
On the handles, USA's Chris Mazur, Jason Turneman.
I mean, you ready? Let's do this. Here we go.
Now, this is a race I think they've been looking forward to because their starts, again, Chris battling the injury a little bit this year, haven't been as good. So starts being taken out quite a bit here.
They seem to have a more distinct audible count than other athletes that I guess have slid together longer.
Yeah, you know, each athlete has something different, and I like to see that personally. It shows, you know, I think it kind of shows a bit more of a camaraderie there, and they're both like, you know, dialed in and ready.
I like that they go with a classic count as well. 1, 2, go.
Yeah.
Still in the red behind Latvia. They've got 400s to make up.
Ooh, has been having a little bit of trouble. Jason there.
Well managed, 131.5 kilometers an hour. Is it enough to pass the Latvian team? Mazur and Turneman threw in down in second position, but just over 200s.
Still seem happy with that run. Able to save some things down there, down low. 14-15 was it was almost too perfect how early they were on the 15 there.
Yeah, it's been a long day for Chris Master.
Really in sync paddles. Seemed like a very good start there.
In sync, but Master still battling injuries that have plagued him throughout the season.
And luckily, Jason's been doing, I think, a pretty good job of kind of, carrying him through that a little bit as he does.
Close.
Yeah, Chris saying that was close. They know they definitely were flirting with a
Flirting with 14
exactly.
is a bad idea.
Yes.
To the top, 10 sleds remain from Latvia. Oskar Skwadromovic, Peteris Kalnins. Seems like a really active hook steer entry for this team. But maybe it was just the camera angle perspective on their helmets. They really looked like they were
they're really trying to get it in there. And that start curve is a little weird of how it's straightened and of where the barrier kind of changes. I don't have to deal with it too much, but from what I've seen and what I've heard, it's it's weird.
Right, Matt Mortensen was telling me that it's really difficult to turn and settle at the same time there.
Exactly. This was a good run though. That 15-16 was
Oh,
good.
oh no! Skiing through the finish, 200s back. Skwadromovic Kalnins falls behind teammates. Sheets. Great camaraderie there. No one's going to be happy to see a teammate fall behind.
Luckily, he's only fallen back one spot, just staying 1/1000th ahead of Master Herdman. That looked like a very good 15-16, and I don't know if they just didn't catch that drive as well as they should have with such a good entrance, and it caught up to them, but too much coming out there, a little too much pressure.
It's really difficult to get things straightened out when you're riding on that short wall.
Yeah, that pressure just hits you weird, and then, riding that short wall going sideways, not a lot you can do.
Our second and final Italian sled, Emmanuel Reeder, Simone Keinswalder.
Off to the sprint start. Wow, Skwadromovic and
Start here looked like they were able to get into that start curve that is not the start curve today. Coming in with some decent speed too.
69.2 through the arch here for Italian sliders.
9, 10, 11 into the transition, all looked very good. Little bit low there, but nothing too bad.
0.003 of a second.
Close here at the bottom.
27.836
Pretty good 15-16, only 7,000.
All coming down to corner 16, and this straightaway, Reeder Keinswalder threw it down. They managed it 200s ahead of Latvia for the new lead.
Really picking up some time there at the bottom. I think they just really crushed that 16 drive, able to get out of there with that nice push out, good speed.
Didn't bother flirting with 14, as you mentioned. Terrible idea. Just keeping things okay.
That was definitely a good run, able to get off 15. Could have gone a little earlier in 16, but not by much. That was good.
Reeder Keinswalder can now do no worse than 9th place. At the top, from Russia, Alexander Denisev, Vladislav Antonov.
First of these 3 Russians to go. Really deep into that first little block there at the beginning of the start.
Off to the double start. Great job there for
Trying to, as you were saying, Matt Mortensen said, trying to hold on to onto that curve with that little pressure. Not the best speed though.
68.8 through the arch. This is Denisev and Antonov. They can pull together here. Only 3/1005.
Yeah, this run's looking okay. A little rough there, 11-12, but still in the green. Definitely having good 14-15 there, able to get into 16. And they're just getting away.
We'll have a new leader here. Oh, as they barely make it through the finish line. 200s ahead, Denisev and Antonov.
I always hate that. You have a pretty good run like they did. I would say that was definitely a good run, but you got to have it all the way out.
Yeah.
That little bit there could catch
Finish
up with
straight
them.
is another corner. You have to think of it as, you always want, there's this tendency to exhale as you come out of a finish corner.
Yes.
And that is the worst idea here.
Definitely able to cut that and get that nice and parallel into that first curve.
Beautiful entry, just enough for first place. So we go to the top for their teammates, Vladislav Yuzhikov and Yuri Prokhorov.
Yuzhikov, one of the older athletes we have in here. He's been around the sport for a long time, but he's proved that he can still be here, and he's always done really well.
Yuzhikov has been sliding for 25 years. They've had a great season so far, 4th, 5th, and 4th place.
Just coming so close to that podium. I know they definitely want to try and get into that top 3.
Don't have the speed. Poland still has the top speed for the day.
A little bit back though, just 100s or 2 100s off. Next up though,
A little bit of an offline there in 11 though. You see they're going back a little farther than they would like already. And with this short track, you want to try and use as little of the track as possible. So
oh no! Height
out.
on the end of 16 got them. We have seen some brutal as exits tonight of the finish curve. I mean, there was some action there earlier today, but not like this. And this makes you wonder, you know, this is a long day. Is it hard to maintain that focus for one more run?
Yeah, if you lose just a little bit of focus, like you were saying, you really still have to make sure you can get that finish. Normally the timing stops right away, but not here. Just going back
Shin number
and
1,
forth.
shin number 2, shin number 1 again. Ouch. Denisev and Antonov lead the pack as we go to the top for Tristan Walker and Justin Smith, the lone Canadians in the field.
Hometown boys always like racing on their home track. Having all family and friends they have come out in here. It's always good to be racing at home. They said so I was talking to them a little bit. They said they've been happy with the runs. They've been having really good, clean runs. Maybe not the speed that they want, but their runs, they said, have been going very well.
And that really is all you can ask for, the things that you can control. And what they can control is a beautiful line on home ice.
That's what they're giving us right here. This is looking really good. Very nice.
Looking to maintain, they're looking for that top 6 finish on home ice. Beautiful exit of the finish curve. Whoa, way back though. 8th place for Walker Smith.
I don't really know what happened there. Again, I think I was saying,
There's a warp zone of time happened somewhere.
yeah, the run seemed good. You know, some small mistakes here and there, but
Nice and slow is the worst. Tough break for the Canadians, but they did manage a top 6 finish in the doubles race earlier today.
it did look like they maybe hit a little too early 15. I couldn't tell if the curve took them or if they got pushed away or not. That's something that we'll have to talk to them about later.
5 sleds remain in the final race of 2019. To the top for Robin Goika and David Gom.
Close to that right side, able to keep calm though and just really push through, finish out their start.
Speed check, 69.2.
So far though, I think I heard a little bit of noise there, a little bit of issues possibly in that 9-10. And see if they're a little farther behind, which they are.
Johnny, do you tactically want to go late into 10? We're seeing a lot of sleds, or at least from this camera angle, looks like going middle late, really high in 15.
Able to save that late
Hammer
into
that
16.
steer, well done. Goika Gom, the safe exit of 16, but that does drop them 4 positions. Denisyev and Antonov still ahead.
As you were saying, I'm not entirely sure if they're supposed to go late into 10. They definitely don't want to go early, but
That's one of those questions you don't ask in front of their coach. Their coach says, no, they're not supposed to. Fix it. I mean, it is pretty rare that you want to go late into a corner tactically.
that's very true.
Definitely not in 16.
Yeah, and that's impressive. They were able to hammer on
that
that
line.
drive. Yeah.
Well played, Robin Goika. Unfortunately, that drops them out of medal contention. Latvia still hanging on. Shik's in third right now, but 4 sleds remain. Austria's Thomas Stoy and Lorenz Kohler are cleared to go at the top.
I think this is another team that the sprint is definitely good for. Not that they have bad starts or anything. Starts are decently good, but I think some people have slightly better, and so this could help them.
Checking in at 69.3, ties the top speed we've seen. Stoy Kohler battling it out for the lead. Ooh, a double rise there on 10 makes them late into 11.
No. They lost so much time there in that 9-10.
Going way farther.
I think that kind of answered your question. That was the latest we saw someone go into 10, and it definitely didn't work out for them.
Commentator Karma for Stoy Kohler threw and down, but they will fall to 4th. Bumping Goika Gom, actually tying.
Yes.
Goika Gom.
It's always crazy to see a tie down to the thousandth of a second. It happens more often than you would think. There's a very late there, kind of caught a weird height, down too soon, and then just back up again.
And late into 11.
They were able to manage it as, man, that was low. Manage it as well as they did.
Yeah, probably not used to oscillating like that in 11.
I'm dropping a few spots, but you never want to drop. You only want to gain.
We're in the medal hunt. 3 sleds remain. Vezvolod Kashkin and Konstantin Korshinov of Russia. Looking to hunt down the current leader, teammates Denisyev and Antonov.
At the very least, we'll know there'll be a Russian on the podium. Let's see if these guys can get that tricky 9-10. It's been hit in the past couple sleds. Let's see what they can do with it. That actually looked very well done.
Oh, dead tie at the split with their teammates. Pulling ahead by how much? Nice entry into 16.
They can come out of here clean.
They did. They're going to be your new leader by just over 0.02 of a second. Kashkin, Korshinov. Guarantee at least one Russian sled on the podium. 2 sleds remain, both German.
Always good to see the young team already getting those podiums. This was a great run. Definitely a little bit earlier they could have been on 15, but they were able to get it out nice and early 16. It was one of the
Really
better
clean.
16s that we've seen coming out of there.
A lot of trust.
Yeah, it'll just throw that back. But now on to the final 2.
On the handles, Germany's Tobias Wendel, Tobias Arlt. At this point in a career like these two have had, pretty much every race is theirs to mess up.
Yeah, it really is. Both the Tobis and Agerbenken, you always expect to see them 1-2. That's always what you expect. Everyone is kind of trying to catch up to them.
Solid speed.
Good. Level line there, only a little behind. It's looking calm and relaxed on the sled. Maybe a little high in 14 and catch it.
Going to be tight.
Good 15, 16 if they can
Beautiful
get
through
ahead.
the finish, just skimming that right wall. It's enough by 1,000th of a second. New leaders, Germany's Wendel Arl just edge out Russia's Kashkin and Korshinov.
Yes, really trusting that.
Wow.
They knew they were close, and he was able to just hold right to it.
And I mean, tactically, it seems like that thousandth could have been in cutting off the end of 16 and risking that right wall on the exit.
Exactly. It could have been.
What a gamble.
It could have been anything. With that 1,000th, you know, that's just. It's always crazy to see.
One sled remains of the 2019 Luge World Cup season. From Germany, Toni Egert and Sascha Beneken.
Wearing the Sprint World Champion bibs.
Pensive start. We'll see how their speed fares.
Again, like you said, this is their race to lose. This was actually the first sled I think I saw it on, but I don't know if anyone else was doing it. It looked like he tried to have his feet a little bit higher up to miss that eye in the beginning. Started just a little bit later.
Kashkin and Korshunov having a great weekend here. They finished third in the doubles race earlier, and now can do no worse than third. Egert Beneken pulling away.
Later there to 16, are they going to be?
Threw in down by 0.03 of a second. What a race.
1, 2, 3, all within under 5 thousandths.
Lining up exactly like the doubles race from earlier today. Gold, silver, bronze goes to Egert Beneken, Wendell Arlt, and Kashkin Korshunov.
What a close race. And when it's that close, you know, you're always kind of kicking yourself like, oh, I could have done this. I could have done
for
this.
the win, 1,000 for the silver. It makes that 300th mark for Denisev Antonov look huge.
Exactly. And when it's that close, you know, the Wendell Art and Kashtin Korshunov are going to be, if I would have put my head back for another couple meters.
If I would have trusted one more corner.
Exactly. Pointed my toes just a little bit more, and it would have been it.
The German Peanut Gallery is pleased. They've had a great weekend here. And all the athletes talking about the time.
Always used to close racing, but man, this was close.
Final results, Egert Beneken take the win, Wendell and Arlt just behind. In second place, Kashtin Korshunov. In third place, rounding out the podium, Denisev and Antonov with the top four. Reeder Keinswaldner from Italy in fifth, and Shiks from Latvia get a top six, which is much better than their race from earlier today. Goike Gam from Germany dropped down to seventh place. Master Turduman managed a top 10 finish. Great for the duo that's still working out the kinks in doubles in a long race day for Chris Master. Walker Smith of Canada in 13th with a tough, clean, but slow run for the day.
And then we ended with the same as we started with the 1, 2, 3. That was some close racing. And I thought there was going to be a little bit more mix-up. I think this year is going to be
That's
interesting.
right. We were doing some wild predictions. We saw that in the men's race and in the women's race. In the doubles, just lined up exactly how it did earlier. Everyone agreed. Fall in line. Know your role. Keep your spot. Overall World Cup standings, Egert Beneken in the lead with 470 points. Wendell Arlt trailing behind with 425. Stoy Kohler take over the third position from the Sheiks brothers with 301, but they are not far behind in fourth position. Yuzhikov Prokhorov in fifth, and Goike Gam round out the top six. Tie between Russians for seventh. Walker Smith stay in the top 10. Reeder Rastner in 11th, Nagler Malier in 13th after a tough race this weekend.